Hello, hello, people of the internet. Ian Althusser, the Freedom Astrologer here, and Mercedes Ann here from Cosmic Adults. Finally ready, finally here. We're doing it, we're recording it. We're going to bring you so much. You're going to have your minds blown. And welcome,
Guaranteed,
Mercedes.
guaranteed.
I'm really glad to do this with my friend Mercedes, and let's just dig in.
Let's roll. Yeah. So what are we doing? Show us the chart. Okay.
I will
Yeah, show us the
share.
chart.
I will
Let's see.
share the chart.
So
Da-da-da.
let's look at the week ahead.
We're
Bum, bum,
looking at the
bum.
week ahead, energetic week ahead,
Mm-hmm.
and practical.
Well, we didn't really talk about why I'm here.
Maybe we should talk about why we're both here.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
You start. You start.
Okay. Okay. Well, I am intuitive guide, mentor to many people. Found out I was psychic along the way somewhere.
Nice.
And I just always wanted to help people. So that's what I do. And that's what I'm about. And yeah, I found that I just wanted to use my gifts for really good. And so hopefully this is, good.
I hope this is one of those things. Yes, me too. I'm Ian Alter, the Freedom Astrologer. I have the some of the similar experiences that Mercedes gave. I'm intuitive, yes. Psychic sometimes, I would say, in my
Okay,
opinion.
dude, no. Do not undersell yourself.
I lately it's been getting more psychic.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the
No,
best intro
no,
right now.
you're uncovering the psychic. The
I'm
psychic
uncovering
is
the psychic.
uncovering, yeah, being uncovered. Yeah.
But I do, let's say, the things where I do feel very secure is like these emotional gifts that I have, that where I can just, tune into basically everything at will, sometimes too much, maybe. And
Totally.
I am an astrologer as well, and I use these gifts in the mixture to also to help people because I did everything else, and everything else seemed totally pointless if you're not doing anything to help people. So there's only one way, only one
True
road.
that, man. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And I think that like both of us have a fair amount of knowledge and the ability to channel. So I
I would
think
say so.
conversations and things coming through. I mean, that's why we originally, decided to get together and put some effort into, putting our ideas and things out there.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is the intention to help you guys through these sometimes murky waters, sometimes amazing waters, and hope you enjoy it, and hope you
Mm-hmm.
enjoy our expression of energies, astrology, deep topics, more earthly topics, hopefully as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you have anything else to add to
Not
this?
really. I think you kind of nailed
Uh,
it.
and okay, let's dig
Okay.
in with the week.
Yeah, what are we looking at here? Well, are we starting with Sunday?
We're starting. Do you wanna? Okay, 27. Let's go to 27.
27th.
So we're going to the
So that would be
27th of
like,
February.
it'd be today. If you're listening to it, it's today.
Yeah, basically, guys, this is happening for you today. Depending a little bit where you are in the world, it can depend where it hits you or when it hits you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually talking from the perspective of like Central Europe, so adjust accordingly. If you if you're in the States or
Just
Canada,
no.
if you're in the States or Canada, it's like mostly it's like maybe 7 hours or 10 hours, 8 hours
Behind?
behind.
Yeah, so we're late to the party.
You're a little bit late to the party. I'm a little bit ahead, so I'm giving you kind of like, yeah, I'm ahead. I'm giving you guys a little bit of like, what's to come, basically. Let's put it that way in a way. What are we looking at? We're looking at some energies here. We're literally starting to prepare for the new moon in a way. We still have, before the new moon happens, we have two kind of like more earthly practical moons. And moon, guys, for us is a lot about emotional reality and what we're feeling inside. So first and foremost, Sunday still moon in Capricorn, very earthly, very practical, very professional. So we're kind of like in a place of, okay, let's get these routine tasks done. And there's not a lot of kind of like joyous expression. You can notice if you start following this, you can see that people inside are pretty serious, and they're not, very outwardly open. We can put it that way.
Okay, do you want to know what I like picked for, or like the
I damn
like,
sure want to.
Okay, so I was looking at the date and I felt the word light and then a big X. Literally like light with an X. So I took that to mean like learn how to lighten when things are hard. And also like lack of lightness.
I think that really well ties into this Sunday because the seeds of optimism are starting to grow, but it's like we need to go through. You can see on my chart, for those of you who are watching the video version of this, you can see on my chart the moon is also going to be conjunct Pluto. So it's never a really comfortable time emotionally, especially when it's happening in Capricorn. It's like these deep things within us are kind of coming to light, and the Capricorn kind of holds on to them and don't want to let them go, but Pluto just rips them up anyway. So it's a short period, but it's still something for those of you who are more in tune with yourselves to kind of remember, and with even with family members at times that tensions can be a little bit there for a couple of hours. Let's put it that way.
So, can we talk about Pluto a little bit? Like,
Sure.
So, like Pluto, I think of Pluto, right? Like, yikes kind of times. Obviously, like with where my Pluto is, I've definitely had to do some like deep diving. So like the depth of this, you said it's Capricorn, and that's family matters. Is that like the main thing?
Because it's moon as well. Moon is the emotional life, but it's also the family environment where we're at, and if you're living with somebody, they become your family. So it's literally that area.
Oh, that's true. Oh, hey, that's cool. I like that you said that way. And then is it also like specifically mother too?
And even if you want to dig it a little bit further, it's early childhood environment as well, and how we like to be nurtured, and how we emotional happiness.
Okay. And I would assume with that Pluto there, that would be really like touching on that quite a bit.
It can get a little bit touchy.
Fun!
It's because guys, we can also bring in a little bit of Mars is close. Mars always makes it a little bit intense as well. So we have support here, luckily, from a sextile and from a trine. But it's still like for a couple of hours there, conjunction with Pluto. That's on a Sunday. That is, it's going to be a little bit of for some Saturday, it's going to be a little bit edgy, I would say, emotionally.
Edgy. Okay, so just remember that the light is there.
The light is there.
When you get through all the reason why we go through hard things and we do work and we do all that is to feel the joy on the other side of it.
I think that's very important. That's super important, guys. Remember just what Mercedes said. We're doing this to get out of pain, basically.
Yeah, like freedom. We like kind of dig that.
God.
Okay, so does that feel like the most important stuff about Sunday?
I think so.
You're gonna have a fight with your mom.
A little bit, like we have things coming in here as well. So I'm going to talk about these in the next coming days. That these energies are going to pick up. If we
Cool.
move forward.
Yeah, let's go to Monday. Ooh, the 28th of February.
Hmm. Do you want to do this first, or I'm going first?
Yeah, okay. The word that I have is kind.
Hmm, that's an interesting one here because
Yeah,
I think.
and
Okay, go ahead.
ooh, no, no, you say it.
No, you had something else. You didn't?
Well, I took it as a couple different ways. Like the word kind is like, when you're like differentiating things, like what kind of thing, you
Hmm.
can use the word in different ways as well as kind, meaning, like loving and thoughtful.
I think that's a really interesting one. It ties in a lot of ways, and one of those ways right now, from a very general perspective, because Moon moves into the sign of Aquarius. Whenever Moon is in the sign of Aquarius, there is curiosity there for a lot of things. So all things immediately feel interesting and want to get that information. But it's very important, like what, like Mercedes says, kind. What kind of information do I actually want to process and want to take in right now? Because it's very easy to get scattered and oh, I'll take this, I'll take that, oh, I don't know what to kind of do
Hmm.
even. And the other part is emotional freedom as well, with always with Moon in Aquarius, and very difficult for people, even if you're like in a corporate jobs, like 2 days usually in the 2.5 days in a month, Moon is going to be in Aquarius, and kind of like, this is doesn't feel right. I need more freedom. I need, bosses give you orders, and they're like, I know, I want some freedom,
Like, give me some elbow room,
Yeah,
boss.
yeah, basically, basically. And what we're actually starting, I think now it's a good time to mention that we're building up actually to the new moon as well. So the new moon
Oh.
is happening when you're in Europe on Wednesday. When you're, even in the East, it's even a little bit earlier. When you're, guys, I'm not going to do this every time. Please, you can figure it out, the time difference. Otherwise,
I was gonna say, like, this is gonna be like a lot of work.
yeah. Every time I was like, oh,
By the
but
way, if you're in a different time zone.
guys, you know that. We'll add a disclaimer in whatever description box. Anyway, so we're building up to this new moon. When we're building up to new moons, it's a lot about, before we get to the actual new moon, it's a lot about assessing of like what it is that is serving us and what do we need to let go of. Because the point
Mm.
of the new moon is actually to initiate something, to start something again with some new energy. But if there's something old that is no longer serving us there to kind of hold us back, it's very hard to move forward with something. So this is the time where it gets, I know, when you're learning about the moon cycles, it gets a little bit, tiny bit uncomfortable because you need to let go of something, and that can trigger, a lot of things, because especially for the fixed signs with Taurus and the Leo and the Scorpio and and Aquarius itself as well. It can be hard to let go of things at times.
Mm.
But this is the time to do it, basically. These couple of days before the new moon, kind of like assessing, oh, this is happening, okay, I need to let go of that.
Mm. Mm. I like that a lot. And I want to ask you about the Pars of Fortune.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like there's some luck coming in. Am I like off base here?
Like a part of fortune, we like to use that more um, in personal charts. We can use it in event
Hmm.
charts as well. Definitely, we can use it. But then I would prefer if we use it in, let's say, a very specific moment. We can take a look at
Hmm.
where it's at during the new moon, and because it's a mathematical point, So it
Okay.
does.
Oh, right. Okay, okay.
So
I'm not an astrologer.
that's okay. I like explaining these things.
Okay, cool. Right. I totally forgot about that. That it's like,
But
yeah.
but having said that, um, what you're picking up on, I think, guys, if you're listening to this, Mercedes picks up on a lot of things constantly, and then things that she picks up, having worked with her, having been her friend, and having sat with her in a lot of times. I know when she picks up on something, there's some meaning and truth behind it, or a lot of it actually. And right now, as we go into the new moon, we'll start to understand what I think she's wanted to say with the luck side of things, because it's a really interesting new moon, which we'll get to in a few moments. I'll just check for a
Okay.
second if I have anything else to say about this. Let's go.
Yeah, I want to ask, like, if like a person, because we're coming up to the new moon and the letting go, obviously, like, everyone's life is going to be different. Like, we all have different lives, so the things that we're letting go of is going to be different for each person. Is there
Nice.
something though in the chart necessarily that someone could look to as far as letting go? What are the main
Totally.
themes, perhaps?
Totally. It's right now we're looking at everybody who knows how to pull up their chart, astrological chart. And those of you who don't know, there are many ways you can do it. But the main area of focus for this moon is still going to be the Pisces. Wherever house you have Pisces in, that's going to be the area under the microscope, basically. So
Okay,
you're going
so
to, yeah, go
the
ahead.
person's looking at their own natal chart and looking at the Pisces, like whatever's in Pisces.
That's the area that's going to be like, okay, so I need to let this one go.
Mm. Hmm.
Or, we can talk about the Pisces energy as well. It can be a creative project. It can be an addiction, unfortunately, as well, with the
Mm.
Piscean energy a little bit. It can be a
Hmm.
spiritual practice that no longer serves you, and you need to start a new spiritual practice, for example, or a new creative
Boom.
project.
Okay, I think that's what it is. I think that's the important thing because, oh man, gee, there are some things that people, and no judgment, but like, there are some things that people do that are just strange, and you never look at it like,
Go ahead.
like, oh man, I don't want to be controversial though, but like, let's
Oh.
talk about Christmas, for example.
Hmm.
Everything that happens around Christmas is a, a spiritual, like, ritual, right?
Hmm.
Like going and getting a Christmas tree. Has anyone ever looked into why you do that?
No.
No. No, and I don't know. I feel very passionate right now. I'm
Go
getting
ahead.
fired
This is the
up.
this is the space to do it.
Whew, yeah, I think looking at, yeah, yeah, looking at all those things as far as like what are like the things that you automatically do that are rituals that are keeping you in old energy that you want, like, it's like if you want a different life, you have to change what you do. You can't live a different life doing the same things that you're doing, otherwise you, like, that's just a paradox.
I think you're right on the money. You're going to get the same results constantly. It's going to be a
Yeah,
loop.
because you're
If you do.
making the same decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I,
then so then when the new thing is presented to you, it's like, what do you choose? Are you going to choose that thing again? I don't know. Up to
yeah, total. And it's really hard for, I think, to touch upon the Pisces thing here. It needs more from your end, guys, because the Pisces energy can be like alluring and can be a little bit of a mystical pull, a veil over your eyes, so you can see and think that things are like this,
mm,
and you're, oh, they're amazing. But they're like, you need to have that a little bit of more critical thinking as well here with the
100%.
Pisces, letting go, because Pisces is actually
Yes.
really good for detaching and letting go.
Okay.
You
And
know
I
that.
want
You
to
know that intimately.
very strongly. And I want to say I call it the Neptune fog.
Nice.
It's like where it's like you're looking through fogged up shower glass, where it's like, you can see the shapes moving on the other side, and you like kind of have an idea of what's there, but you're like, No idea. It's like you it's like you're at, I don't know. It's like the touchdown pass. It's like you're at like the 5 yard line and the ball's getting thrown to you and you're like, all you have to do is run 5 yards and you know,
You drop the ball.
you drop the ball.
Yeah,
It's
good,
not, it's like you
impressive.
never get that last 5%, whatever it is, of clarity.
Oh, nice.
Maybe I shouldn't use like metaphors, like sports metaphors, when I
Yeah,
like don't know anything about it.
it's perfect. It's perfect.
All I can think about is that one Super Bowl where they lost because whatever.
Mm.
We'll leave that in the dust. Anyways, yeah, we'll let it go. I'll let it go.
Yeah, I think what's building up here a little bit here is the Mercury Saturn conjunction as well. That will actually help us do it because Mercury Saturn conjunction, I'll pull one day ahead as well. It's happening literally before the new moon, and during the new moon is helping us to, yes, it can dampen the thinking a little bit, go into a little bit, not depression, but it's makes it a little bit serious, the thinking there. But hopefully it will also help us during the new moon to kind of differentiate between blind optimism and critical thinking and what's actually practically possible. Yeah, go ahead. You had an
Mm.
aha there.
Get rid of the Neptune fog.
Yep, yep, yep.
The word that came to me was small for March 1st.
Mm.
So that is interesting because I would obviously maybe I'm prejudiced,
Go ahead.
but it makes me think like very Virgo, like very like small detail,
Hmm.
small, like not necessarily like I was like becoming small. Like I don't think it's necessarily that, but it's like focusing in on the small. What is small? Maybe there is something that's small that you do need expanding in, or maybe with like the initiation of the project, there are some small details that you're not focusing in on and that you need to.
I think in a way this is a good thing to do because we have so much of this expansive energy coming in from the Pisces. So it's very, very easy to start getting lost in those moments.
Oh,
But
yeah.
luckily the Mercury is helping us here with the Saturn conjunction. So if you're feeling a little bit like almost like too down on yourself or the thoughts are getting too negative, do your best to use it as critical and organizational thinking with all that optimism.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
And to me, that feels small. I love
Oh,
thinking, but I do not like, oh, like the just the Virgo, blah, 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 you know? I
I
love all
mean,
you Virgos out there. Seriously, I love the crap out of you. And why are you the way that you are?
it's it's similar with me. It's like I have so many Virgos around me constantly because I don't have almost any Earth. Like even my fiance has like very strong Virgo energy, and I love the
Really?
Virgos a lot, but it's sometimes really hard for somebody who's more big picture, like Mercedes told her, side of big thinking, big things, to be with that. Are these details fine? Are these details correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, but I just want to go prance around in a field.
basically, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, the Virgo Pisces. So, okay, and maybe this can lead us in a little bit actually, because into astrologically having the opposites, right?
Hmm.
Because so Pisces and Virgo being opposite on the chart. Having said that though, like isn't it the highest expression, and maybe I'm, you know, correct me obviously if I'm wrong here. Isn't it the highest expression though to like merge the two almost?
Hmm. In my mind, yes. There's it's very hard if you go into extremes with either, and
Hmm.
then both need to balance themselves it can be my Libra ascendant speaking, but this is how I understand it and understand every aspect, every kind of thing in a chart or life in general. If you go towards extremes, if you go too much in the fields, it's going to be dancing in the fields all the time. But if you're
Right.
just too much in the needed details, you're not going to, expand and do those bigger things. And if you
You-
let's throw in some fire there as well. If you don't have
yeah.
fire, you're not going to do anything with these details, big ideas. You need that fire to put it into
Right.
action and create it into material reality.
Okay, I think that that's like actually key to astrology is like remembering that you're a freaking human and that, astrology is important, but it's also important to just balance your life. Like the way I look at this is like, it's like what are those? Do you remember those did you ever play with those toys that was like it was like a maze and it was like a disc and it had a metal ball in it and you had to like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
tip it around to get to the center or
Totally.
whatever. Like
Totally.
I feel like the center is really where you want to be. Like yeah, we have all these planets and all this stuff going on. How can you remain centered and grounded through all of that? I think is the biggest question.
Totally. I think everybody needs to ask that, and even a little bit to add to it is like, how can I use these energies that I have in the chart in that center kind of way, in that um, balanced way?
Yeah, I dig that. Okay. And now we're leading up to the new moon, the main event here.
I would definitely say this new moon is the freaking main event for at least
Okay.
a couple of weeks.
The word I have, well, it's not. So I think that this is going to evolve from like one word to like,
Hmm.
I don't know, phrases, tidbits, whatever. A fire day. I have fire day.
Fire Day, that's interesting. Hmm. That's a very interesting one. Let's see what we
Yeah,
can.
I was very confused. I was like, what are you talking about, fire day? But
Okay, I think I
okay.
got it already. Anyway,
Okay.
um, so let's talk a little bit about the new moon, and then I will bring the fire day here. I'm already pointing to it, this Mars and
Ooh.
Pluto as well.
Martha.
And
Okay.
let's talk about the new moon, because the new moon, like before, like I mentioned, the letting go can be uncomfortable. But once we are seeing the new moon here, it's very freaking like optimistic. It's almost like for me when I was looking at it, it was like, oh my god, it's like too optimistic, like super optimistic here.
Is it in Pisces?
It's in Pisces.
Oh, yeah.
It's like everything is here. We have the Jupiter here, which is, big things, luck, abundance, like positive world view and purpose and future, um, seeing it in very positive light. And it's happening literally very close to that. Or Jupiter, sorry, is very close to that new moon. It's a very close conjunction. And in Pisces, where Jupiter is strong, so the strength of Jupiter is kind of expanded even more. And
Mm.
Neptune is very close to that conjunction as well. And for some of you who are more into astrology might say, oh, it's 10 degrees, so it doesn't really. Yeah, it's the new moon, guys. So the orb gets bigger, so the Neptune definitely influences here. So what do I see here is after the new moon, a little bit of uncomfortable gets done, and now we get into this, oh my god, everything is possible, everything, we can do everything, these projects, oh, they will be like this. And of course, with the Pisces new moon, it's good to visualize and see that these things are possible, and you can get the positivity of future into your life as well. But again, I'm a little bit like, it's almost like too much, you know. There's so much of optimism there. I'm a little bit wanting to dial it down for you
Mm.
guys. Um,
Is it like the this too shall pass sort of story where it's like this too shall pass, whether it's a negative or a positive thing, like
mhm.
always remember that it will pass. It's not like I guess this is where Pisces addiction stuff comes in big time.
Mhm.
Hey, like, because it's like so good. You just want like more is not always better.
I tend to agree with this judgment that you really put out there. It's like use this optimism for yes, moving forward and starting new things and beginning things, but just like have at least one, the smallest toe in reality as well, because otherwise it's just flying in the fields and then it's like.
Just the baby toe. That's it.
But I, but I do like if we're
Yeah,
looking at the bigger picture stuff here.
yeah. I
It's
want
it.
to say it like I don't
Go
think
ahead.
Ian's trying like you're not trying to be a downer. You're just
Mm-mm.
saying like be grounded in the choices that you're making. Yeah?
I would say so. Yes, very well put.
Yeah.
Um, and from a bigger perspective, I do see some, let's say, good and positive news coming out here. I would say next 2 weeks from this point onwards, but actually in the next 2 months, even in my mind as well, about the situation in the world. You guys know what I'm referring to. I don't want
The
to say the words.
situation
I
that
don't want.
shall not be named.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say the words out because it's algorithms and stuff like that. But I think there can be some news about some medicine coming out, something positive. The downside I see here is maybe some sort of they want to put more medicine into people as well, so that can happen. But generally, something optimistic, positive about that situation that will make it seem like everything is done and everything is fine. Knowing what will come end of year, please don't go get carried away too much with this optimism. But use the energy to create something meaningful and start something
Well,
good.
I mean, to say it is like grow roots. I feel like spend the time growing roots. The deeper you ground, the more realistic and actually grounded you are, the higher you can really fly in your big dreams and goals.
That's
Personally, is
that's
what I
freaking
feel.
amazing. Yeah, could have said that shorter myself.
That's okay. It's a discussion, right? Like I don't know. I think it's yeah. I mean that's along the journey. Obviously, we both of us have been on spiritual journeys of different types and lots of similarities and differences. But I think the thing I'm tuning into a lot lately is the fact of being grounded. Actually, I don't want to say like gets you further. Like it's like there's a goal or an endpoint or anything, but it's like it allows a lot more clarity is all, especially for someone, I mean, like me. I have to be very very cognizant, what's the
Cognizant,
word,
yeah.
cognizant of of how 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 far I'm straying from reality, because I can, it's like Inception, the movie Inception, where it's like, what's the dream, what's reality? Like that's literally the my entire life. So I have to spend a lot of time just like being on the earth, making sure my feet are on the ground. Okay, what's actually going on here? Because sometimes I just don't know. So I think it's important to grow your roots, especially when we've got this big expanse of energy coming in order to be able to accept it. Because if you're not grounded enough, if you don't have enough like capacity, it's not going to come in all the way, probably. You might not be ready for it, and that's okay. Catch it on the next new moon.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or whenever your time is. I mean, there's no like this is it's like there's no like end, right? It's like there's no end.
yeah, don't be scared, guys, if you know, get lost in it. There's always a way out, I would say as well. Like, getting
Hmm.
lost is a part of the journey as well, sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that a lot in the forest. Lost.
In the fields. But let's talk about the
Yeah, what's the
fire,
fire
Sai.
day?
Let's
Let's
talk
move
about the
on.
fire because
I'm
Mercedes brought the
so
fire
interested.
because we have an interesting conjunction happening simultaneously with the new moon, and it's it's sending a wide sextile, so it's a kind of like like a hard. I would call it a conjunction is always like a 70-30 aspect for me. 70 is like more the positive, 30 is maybe the harder. And but two difficult planets are meeting, Mars and Pluto. One is the fire Mercedes was talking about. Mars is the fire, and Pluto is like almost like hidden fire for me as well. So there are two tiny bit similar planets meeting in the sky, and it does speak of some aggression. Yes, it does. Your inner fire will be lit. So this means also that other people's inner fires will be lit as well. So there's a bubbling in under the surface, because Pluto is everything under the surface. And now if your fire is bubbling under the surface, there are many ways it can leak out. It can leak out, in aggression towards others in a negative way, but it also can come out as inner strength. And this is, I think, that let's say what we want to do is to find that inner strength to start these things, to carry on even these things, because Pisces is immutable. So it can be the new beginnings or something in already going on. There's something that's going on. You need to make changes there, new changes. And Pluto and Mars, actually, they give this strength to us here if we decide to use it in conjunction. It's always like it can be a little bit hard to get the positive side of it, meaning that finding that inner strength to push forward, but do your best to find that and really go and move ahead.
Isn't Pluto the god of hell?
You can call it that as well.
I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I always think like Hades and hell and all that stuff. So,
So it's literally death. So
there's fire there
yeah.
in hell, supposedly. I've heard rumors. That's so interesting. So the highest expression of that would be like the creative project potentially, or
I would say so. I would say if you have something to make, or even it doesn't always have to be creative project, but in this case it's a little bit more. But even if you have something you're pushing through and it's hard during these days, like this energy will really make it so like, okay, I'll I don't want to do it, but like I do it. I'll still do it because I have the energy, I have the force, I can make something happen. The maybe one thing I wanted to mention, something that is happening with men here as well, is like some news with regards to men can come to light. Some sort of might hear a news from a man that did something maybe not the best of things, and the women will get the same in a second as well. I'll talk about that later.
Go for it,
in
please.
The next one, because both are getting that actually here.
Okay, yeah, let's roll with it. Is there anything else about this day that is like important?
Machine. There's so many things here.
I mean, like I'm just looking at that big triangle. Is that a trine or something?
You mean the Uranus and these ones?
Oh,
okay. So
I have a hard time with your with looking at your software because it's not what I normally look at.
I know. It's like in this case, in a general sense, we wouldn't look. I wouldn't look at right now this grand trine, because it's more like if we're doing a natal chart reading, because it's the ascendant a little bit here.
Okay.
But one of the things I forgot to mention, and I want to mention this really, and I think this ties in, and you can bring in your stuff as well. It's because it's a lot about healing here as well. So this is a big part of this new moon. So some of the things you might be letting go are like subconscious patterns even, and this is a really good time to heal some of those. Their new moon always brings them up
Mm.
anyway, so it's
Yeah.
easy to let them, or not easy. It's easier to let them go, and maybe a healer comes, a mentor comes, somebody who
Hmm.
has these skills helps you, or even you do that healing on yourself and let go some of those patterns yourself. That's
So
definitely possible.
so let the flame inside illuminate what needs to be healed.
Exactly.
Is that a Pisces comment? Let's do
I,
it.
I mean, it's literally putting these two energies together, with the Pluto and Mars and with the Pisces and energy. It's very good. Yeah, you can do that for now.
Plus,
A
a
plus.
plus for anyone that can nail that down.
Yep.
Okay, March 3rd, what a good day. Best day of the year, one might say.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
No
Do
reason.
do you
No
want to
reason
start, or
why.
I'll just go?
um, well, okay. Actually, it was wild when you were talking earlier. You were talking about the bubbling up. Well, the word for Thursday, the 3rd, is bubble.
Hmm.
And I was like, bubble, that's weird. But okay, I trust. Um, so yeah, bubble. And I sort of thought like I kind of thought about the bubble boy from Seinfeld for
Mm-hmm.
one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, interesting. And then bubble can be like so many things. Like I also think of like bubbles as a child, blowing bubbles and how fun that was, and we're just like watching them go across the sky with the rainbow in it, and it's just something really magical about that. And I get really like I want to say like a whimsical feeling about this day.
Interesting. I think there's a lot to it, what you're saying there, because we are still in the new moon energy, and everything is in Pisces. But what is important about this day, guys, is really important now. Is Sun was close to Jupiter during the new moon, but now it's becoming even closer and closer, and the conjunction of the two giants and the two optimistic. Um, I don't. It's more masculine energy, I would say. So the conjunction or the meaning of two optimistic dudes in our solar system is coming up. So this is really what expands, our confidence, especially men. Yes, more a little
Mm-hmm.
bit for men, but generally it's just like so much confidence. Okay, let's do this. This is possible. I can do it. All of that will come up. And we if Mercedes mentioned bubble, for me also it's like it can get too much, and even for the like financial markets, this always creates these whoosh, big whooshes of optimism in those markets, which creates usually bubbles in markets. So you can look at it
The
from
thing
that
about
perspective.
bubbles is that they pop.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ooh, that's not funny.
I would, I would say it's a
Oh
little bit
shit.
hilarious as well. So yeah, it can mean that our bubble will burst if we get too carried away here with this big confidence and optimism. Of course, use it as
Mm.
well to put things out there and create in the material world. But like like Mercedes, like if it gets too big, it is much easier to burst, and maybe somebody will burst it later.
Yeah, keep grounded. Keep grounded.
Yeah. And the good thing about this is Mercury is starting to separate from Saturn, so that maybe some of the heavier thoughts that we
Mhm.
had during these new moons, and these will start to lift a little bit.
Yeah.
And even
Oh,
even
oh.
one thing, Mercury and Saturn together can even say something mean, so be prepared for that as well.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say something about like talking to a friend on this day. Like if stuff's getting really hard or you don't know like what to do, sometimes talking to a friend, hopefully a friend that can be neutral for you or hold a good space, I'm not going to ask too many questions, but ask good questions in order to sort of figure it out. Because I mean, this journey of life is very subjective, and it's just you.
Nice. Fuck yeah. It's just you.
I mean, it can
Guys.
get lonely, but at the
Yep.
end of the day, like you choose everything. You pick your own adventure. Anyways, I don't know what that has to do with talking to a friend, but talk to your friends, you know, talk to your good friends, the people that, and we're talking about letting go here too. Like, what about friendships? Letting go of people who are maybe not, if you realize that you can't call that person and have like a spacious conversation, like look at that. Maybe you don't need to interact with that person so much. I know, like what happened to me is like when I was growing spiritually or otherwise, I I started to like not want to be around certain people, and I basically my whole friends list really declined, and I sort of cut everyone off that was sort of not living the life I wanted to live. Number one thing was that I stopped drinking alcohol, and that's something that I just, I'm not condemning people for drinking alcohol, but for me, it just brings me down lower than I'm comfortable with climbing back up. And so all my friends that were drinking and partying and that was the only thing that they wanted to do, it was like, okay, see you later. And then 4 years later, those friendships started coming back, and they were like, oh, like we're like, I'm saying we as if all of them were together talking to me. No, it was like separate conversations, but I noticed a theme amongst them where it was like, um, yeah, they weren't as interested in alcohol or playing that old game anymore, let's say. Playing the old games where you're just not getting into the future that you want. And so that's just, you can let stuff go, and sometimes it comes back.
Amen. Totally. Freaking
I hope
totally.
that long-winded thing helps someone out there.
Yeah, definitely. It's because it's hard to sometimes let go of people, especially, and
Yeah. Well, that's
sometimes
like
it's
the
necessary.
classic attachment thing, right? If you realize that you like someone only because you have certain things in common, and if you didn't have those things in common, you couldn't have a conversation, well, have a look at that.
That's freaking important.
Maybe there's something there or not there.
I would say not there.
We're gonna go with not there.
Oh, good. Good stuff. Mm, shall we move forward again?
Yeah, let's move forward.
Mm-hmm.
I this word, it was dream. This day is dream.
Dream. Mm-hmm.
Is there a planet that rules dreams, or
Neptune.
something like Neptune rules dreams?
Depending on what type of dreams. If we're talking about,
Ooh.
the things we see and go into when we're sleeping, quote unquote sleeping, um, we can
Oh.
talk about Neptune. If we're talking about more practical dreams and goals, we talk about Saturn and Uranus. If we talk about the future, seeing it in a, you know, seeing the future, we're talking about again Jupiter. So there are different things to look at here. But I think this is where my attention goes, because the let me just fourth and fifth is when the Sun and Jupiter really become exact. So the optimism that we've been kind of like constantly saying and saying and saying will be at its peak basically here.
Wow.
And um, yeah, I think that's it on what you said. But
Yeah.
I forgot about one thing that I wanted to mention, because let me just dial it back. and this is happening also. Venus and Pluto conjunction at the same time. Right after it happens with Mars and Pluto, Venus and Pluto happen as well. So Venus is women, and I said about men, things about men coming to the
Yes.
surface, but
Yes.
now
I'm so curious. Okay, say more things.
because women will feel generally empowered here as well, but there are,
Fabulous.
but they need to bring that power out as well. It won't be, and it's similar to men, guys, to men before that and now women. But it won't be super easy to bring that empowerment out. So you need to dig deep and bring it out. It can also mean from a perspective like some things about the feminine energy come out to the light, to the surface. They're brought out to the public, to the open more, or even something hidden about a female celebrity. Maybe in the news you can see, oh, this happened, this, and then it's for us to discuss.
Oh my God. My like pupils just dilated. I was like, oh my God, celebrity gossip. I was like, wait a second, that's not very that's not my highest self.
I mean, it brings also the ambition as well because Mars is so close. So men and women in general will be more ambitious. Money, financial matters. This is also important for us to kind of keep in mind.
So practically, like, what should a man know and what should a woman know about this day?
I would say be prepared for like deeper transformations that will lead you to bring out whatever was hidden, and quite ambitiously I would say as well, and bring those things to the light. I would say that
Cool.
is a way you can use it in a practical way.
That sounds like so positive. I don't know, like I feel like a lot of people, women especially, I mean, I guess I can only really speak for myself, but everything has sort of seemed like very bleak. Like
I,
there's been a lot of bleakness. Like,
I can bring the bleak side as well, but I don't want to.
yeah, no, we don't need the bleak. We've had more than our fair share of bleak. Um, so I think that's really like makes me feel very good. Makes me feel like relieved, I guess you could say. It's like one of the things that's been going through my mind a lot lately has been like, is it all worth it? Like, what's the point? You
Mm.
know, what's the point? We've been going through all this oxen dung for so freaking long, and it's just like, what's the point? So to have like some empowerment and some good things coming, I feel like that makes me feel very, very positive and relieved.
There are, yes, I would say the spring in general, this spring should bring a lot of, you know, at least some relief from all the things that we've been going through, and some healing, and then some optimism and some good news
Good.
in general. But maybe we could
Good.
mention the dance of Mars and Venus because that's still
Sure.
going on as well. So there's a lot of, balancing of masculine and feminine energies within
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, taking
Is
action and being more passive at the same time as well.
okay. Is there anything to know about like babies being born during this time? Like kids
Yeah,
that will grow up
yeah.
to
Uh,
have this as their natal chart?
I mean, the first thing here is like a lot of babies will be made during this period.
Okay, then maybe that's why I'm thinking babies.
I
Like
think so. Because
baby.
there's so much sexual energy right now, guys.
Okay,
It's
okay.
it's like literally, the planet of relationships and the two planets that are mostly associated with sexual expression, sexual energy, are literally meeting in the sky. They're forming a stellium and their conjunction. So there's so much of sexual energy, guys. Of course, enjoy yourselves and have fun. Just use it wisely. Use that sexual energy wisely. And if you're not ready to have a baby, maybe safe sex.
What are the aspect? I want to know like what 9 months from now. Because that's got to be a setup from the universe, right? Like 9 months from now has got to be like pretty wicked
9 months
something.
from now, I would say it's a pretty intense time for us on this planet Earth. But I think these people who were born, I'm just going on top of my head. I'm not looking at any
Mm-hmm.
old aspects, but I think these people who are born then are going to be the ones that are really restructuring society. For one, they're really they will look at the society on a very critical way, and they will
Mm-hmm.
find ways to restructure it tremendously. Later on, obviously, we're
Yeah, yeah.
talking 30,
You
30
know,
something
when
years.
they're like 30 years old.
Because the main
Okay,
aspect,
so if
yeah,
you're looking to if you're looking to make a baby right now, just know that baby is a futuristic freaking child.
yeah, yeah. In a way, you know what the good thing about that is, what you just said. I think they will have the capability to almost be in the future and be like futuristic, but there is some kind of lag in the traditional or more kind of like groundedness as well. So I think those energies you just mentioned are they, some of them can be radical, but legs in both fronts as well. I would say.
Hmm, I like that.
Okay, we're almost at
All
the end
right.
of the week actually.
Plan for that. Yeah, we're rolling into Saturday. The
Yeah.
word, I thought this was so weird. The word that I was given is sink. Not
Sync.
not sinking, sink.
Haha.
Huh. And
That's
I was like, ooh,
interesting.
let's contemplate that.
Oh.
Sink. I feel like sink into your life. Like just sink into it. Also kitchen sink. Like, just fucking everything.
Hmm. Very interesting. I can't immediately see it right now, but let's
Well, that's
start.
okay.
Let's
I
digging
mean,
in.
I don't think they always have to be related.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I think sometimes there's just, I mean, I want to say again, like, astrology is amazing and I love it, but also, it's your life that you're living.
Totally.
That's your reality, that's what you're seeing. So we can base it on astrology, absolutely. And your intuition is just as important, if not, and I'm sorry, if not more. I think intuition, because that's what you rely on day to day. It's not like, oh, I have to make a decision in this exact moment. How many people should I have for this shift this day? Let me consult astrology. It's like, it's not like ideal to do that. I think big decisions and like all these different things, yes, certainly. And develop your intuition, develop your trust within yourself.
I think that's very, very important. Like extremely important to trust and develop that intuition. And astrology can be, like a supportive there because your intuition can't be taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody takes your astrology software or computers or whatever
Or
to
it
take it
fails or
away, or it
whatever.
fails or something.
Anything can happen.
But that intuition stays with you, and you can use it in every. If it's fine tuned, you can use it in any situation
Mm-hmm.
and get through things quicker and in a better way.
Totally. I feel like there's good energy coming in on this day, actually.
I think you're
March
bringing up on
6th.
this little baby here because
This little sucker.
because this little
Okay.
sucker is
Okay, what is that little baby? Let's roll into it.
because this little baby is Moon in Taurus, and Moon in Taurus is it's the best place where the moon can be, and when the moon is in the best place where it can be, then usually our emotions and feelings are more grounded. Now there is a little bit of a but here for
Mm.
at least this year until 2023 March, because every time
Oh.
a moon is in a fixed sign, and Taurus is a moon in a fixed sign, or Taurus is a fixed sign and the moon is in Taurus. So every time, yeah,
Hang,
go ahead.
hang. Is a Taurus moon is a happy moon? Is what
It's a
you're saying?
it's a very happy moon, but we have a little bit of a but here this time.
Oh, okay. We're going into
Uh,
the butt.
we're going into the but. Every time the moon is in a fixed sign, and it's getting a hard aspect from Saturn, basically, is what I'm saying. Because let's say, for example, if it's in Leo, it's getting an opposition. If it's in Scorpio, it's getting a square again. Like in Taurus, it's getting a square. And even in Aquarius, it's getting a conjunction. A Moon Saturn conjunction already. It's kind of like eh. And what I'm basically saying is, yes, emotions, feelings will be grounded, but now the like the second trickster part here is because every time it's in Taurus, it's going to be conjunct Uranus, and Uranus is not grounded at all. Uranus is like excited, da da da. So we have like a really weird mixture of energies every time it's in Taurus. Like the best place for the moon to be, it's a little bit still agitated, but the good parts of Taurus are still felt.
I think of Uranus as like Einstein, like
Yeah,
just
totally.
quirky and freaking weird,
Yep.
but a genius. And then I think of Saturn as like I love my grandfather dearly, and I think of him as my grandfather, who is just like I always picture when I think of Saturn like going into the tool shed, grabbing a wrench, and it's like outlined, right? Like he's drawn where that specific wrench goes, and you're taught to, use the wrench, treat the tool well, put it back exactly where you found it after you're done using it. Like very like da 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 da. Each step is like blah. Boring for a Pisces, obviously, but
That's a very good
okay.
description of Saturn.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's what always plays through my head. So, the Taurus moon with the quirky genius, and it's what being with Saturn
And it's squared by the hard master, I would say.
squared by the grandfather,
Yeah.
the strict grandfather.
Well,
So, oh, this is like, yeah, I feel like this is like a big dance, to be honest, of energy of like, how do you impress your grandfather by being a quirky genius?
that's the problem here. I think that's the problem. That's the question we should be
Because
asking.
you're not going to.
It's very hard to do it. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. The interaction is going to be a little bit uncomfortable. Definitely. There's no like, oh yeah, it's going just go super well.
Grandpa, watch this. Like, no. Grandpa's gonna be like, can you like get it together?
Yeah, get your shit together, and that can actually
Yeah.
this can actually trigger a reaction within you for like fuck you, grandfather. I want to be emotionally.
I don't want to. I'll leave my tools wherever I want.
Yeah, basically that can. Don't say that to your grandfathers, guys.
Yeah,
I'm
be
just
nice to your
joking. Yeah,
grandfathers.
definitely. But just the emotional reaction. I want to be liberated emotionally, but it's a little bit of a. The grandfather comes in, no, just do your duties before, and then maybe.
Right. And then the moon being in Taurus. Isn't there something to do with food with that too?
Yeah, totally. We enjoy food more, and
Yeah. So what, I mean, could an expression of it be like making a quirky dinner perfectly
totally,
with
something
no
new.
mess?
Yeah, totally can be enjoying a quirky meal, new innovative.
So plan on Saturday to make a quirky meal. Maybe that's what the sink is all about. Clean the sink.
Clean the sink afterwards.
Clean the sink. You dirty person. Oh my goodness. Okay, and what's going on with Venus there? Is that Venus?
Oh yeah, that's a big. I think we should stop, or at least put our attention here, because two big shifts are happening on the end of week as well. Because again, Mars and Venus are changing signs. So Mars and Venus are both entering the sign of Aquarius, and especially for Venus, it's been a quite a big ride there in Capricorn, and now finally Venus gets into a little bit of a more comfortable space because Aquarius, it's again friends, and Venus is about relationships. So and it all both are very much to do with social things as well, being social, more social. So it's a little bit of more comfortable space for Venus. So we enjoy being with friends a little bit more. We want to be with them. It brings us enjoyment. The thing is here, it's almost like you want also the freedom as well in the relationship. So if you're in a romantic relationship, in a friendship relationship, it's kind of like I want the freedom to decide for myself during this whole Venus in Aquarius, and Venus in Aquarius generally in a romantic relationships wants, like, it doesn't have to be extreme open relationship, but it wants to be free in that relationship. It doesn't want to be tied down very traditionally. And Mars coming in, it can make those friendship relationships a little bit more aggressive. Or maybe aggressive is too much, but some arguments there, some tense. But the good thing here is Mars can actually ignite, or our friends and social circles can ignite us to move forward, to go towards our dreams, and so yeah, something, maybe somebody says a little bit something too rash and too aggressive towards you, but it's also at the same time it kind of like, okay, so I should get going and start moving forward as well.
I think it's interesting that there's been a bit of a theme here about friendships and friends coming up. So, I think that's important, looking at that. And the thing I'm thinking of now is like, I think Jordan Peterson said it, where he's like, what is it? Watch how your friends react when you tell them good news. And that's how you'll know who is really your friend, or something like that. I'm butchering it, but something like that, where it's like, if you have something good going on, if your friend is like, oh, well, you shouldn't do that, or whatever, giving you some kind of garbage response, like, fill in the blanks.
Well,
Fill in the blanks, peeps. Okay, anything else to add?
I would say
Important?
yes, a little bit.
Yeah, you're yes, always, everything. Okay.
But like,
what? I don't know. I keep looking at Chiron and I keep looking at Mercury.
we can talk about. It was just one thing I want to say about, because what you brought here is, I think, really important with this configuration as well. Like Mercedes says, evaluate these relationships, and this is one of the perfect energies that is right now coming in end of week, beginning of March, because Venus and Mars together anyway are literally like cutting off certain kind of relationships in our life, be it romantic, be it some sort of friendship relationships. But now they both are entering also the sign of friendships. So it kind of even emphasizes it even more. So if there's a friendship that's not working out, there can be a cutting off of that as well here, especially when we consider the Saturn coming up, but that we'll cover in the next weeks. Or
yeah. Well, and it's like, do you really think that if you let go of that friendship, there's not going to be a new friend coming in?
Yeah.
Absurd. Come on, there's gonna, come on, there's people like you out there. There's gonna be more people. There's no shortage of people on the planet.
8 billion, like something.
Like 8 billion. You really think there's not someone else that maybe is more aligned for your life to be there for you and support you, and as a friend would, a real friend? Come on. And isn't there that one guy who's always like, he's like so intense, and he's always on stage yelling. he's like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Tony
and
Robbins.
it's just like, It's not Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins doesn't yell.
I
Does
think
he
he
yell?
yelled. Yeah, he's yelling.
He does some yelling. No, this is like a really old guy. Oh, sorry, an
Oh
elderly
God.
gentleman, and he he very much
Bob
yells a
Proctor?
lot.
No.
No, but rest in peace, buddy.
Yeah.
No, he's kind of like a Bob Proctor though, and yeah, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. So keep your circle tight, keep the vibe high with your friends, because those are the ones that'll see you to success. When you have strong friendships, you have strong ideas, strong, just all the goodness. And especially psychic friends are good because whenever you're going through something, usually you'll get a text or a voice message saying, "Hey, are you okay?" So I get those kind of friends.
I think it's a really good segue to end this week's
Yeah. Okay, hope y'all enjoyed it. We yeah, we love doing this stuff, so we're not doing it for no reason. We could certainly be doing all kinds of other things, but hey, we're bringing you the goods for your week.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys listening, watching, and if you have questions, if you have some suggestions, leave it in the comments, and we'll do our best to start addressing some of your questions as well in the future. And
Yeah.
yeah, thank you very much for listening, watching.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Have a great day. Have a good week.
Have a great week.